Uday, Uday,
Yes.
check your camera. Please, you change your angle or do something because I cannot see you clearly.
Yes.
Background is quite bright and just check it once, beta.
Now is it better now?
No, beta.
Wait.
Uday, there is a light reflection at your
Huh.
back.
Background is not correct.
Now I applied the background. Is it fine?
Yeah, it's better now.
So how's everybody?
Fine,
Good,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Fine.
Good, ma'am.
How are your classes going?
Very well,
Fine,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I know it's not like in school. Online classes cannot be like in school. There is a huge difference between the two. But then the way the crisis is, we cannot really help. We have to manage with what we have and just stay indoor. That is the best thing that you can do. Stay home, stay safe. Because the way the virus is spreading, it is best that you. I was told by somebody, why please hibernate for 15 days. So just don't get out of the house. And he says that's the best way to stay safe. I just asked, what is the best way to save? He says just hibernate for 15 days in your home, and that is the best way to save yourself. So just be careful, you know, and I hope your parents are keeping well, your loved ones are keeping well. I know it's difficult time, but then we'll tide over it. We have, I think there have been pandemics in all centuries. This is our century, so we've got the pandemic. So we'll tide over it also. No issues. I think we'll get over this. We'll come out with flying colors. Mr. Mittal is the vice chairman of Bharti Enterprises, the very famed Bharti Airtel Group. Okay. He's also the chairman of the Satya Bharti schools, Bharti Foundation. You people go to Satya Bharti schools? So he runs around more than 250 schools across the country. And he's very passionate about education. And he's a wonderful human being. More than anything, I think he's just an awesome human being. So, that's what makes the school beautiful. When you have a person at the helm of affairs who's compassionate, who's kind, who cares for the students truly, he's genuinely concerned about students, then automatically
Ma'am,
school
sir
becomes a
is
happy
here.
place. Yeah.
Hi, good morning to all.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning,
Good
Good
sir.
morning,
morning.
sir.
Morning, sir. Good
And
morning,
welcome
sir.
to this class, a set of 28 children. Wonderful, and all waiting for you to come. I was talking about you while you were just joining in. So just telling them that these people have been going to Satya Bharti school since class 2. So I was just telling him that he's the chairman of the Bharti Foundation, which runs these Satya Bharti schools. And each time they go, they have such wonderful reviews for the Satya Bharti schools. So they're all looking forward to interact with you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Uh, Thank you, Bhupender. I assume everyone has their cameras on and microphones muted. And I assume the class teacher is also online. I see
She's
Neha
there,
and
sir.
Gautam.
Yes, sir.
No,
He
no,
is
Yes,
she's
online.
there. The class teacher is
yes,
there.
sir, I am here.
Very well. So it is quite uncanny because so before I go to the topic, first of all, let me check each one of you feeling good, high energy, high spirits during the pandemic time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
So all your voices collectively are lower in vibration and energy than me alone speaking. So you all need to cheer up. So what I was saying was it's quite uncanny that I thought of talking about giving. Um, and Bhupinder just mentioned about the Satya Bharati program. And I can tell you there is no predetermined uh, topic decided which Bhupinder wanted. I'm just reiterating what I said yesterday because then the class teachers would have prodded you to be fully prepared for some interactions with specific queries. The idea is to have a free flow interaction. So let's start. Um, you know, I got this data point on. It was the Greeks who coined the term philanthropy in the 5th century BC, which meant love for humanity. Although my belief is that if we look at the Hindu scriptures and the age old traditions, thousands of centuries before Christ, giving was something which was a norm. And most of you may not know, I heard this when I was a kid, which used to be called the Sahi, which meant that any income which you earn through the year, or 10% of that, the Sahi is 10%, of that should be put on one side for a noble cause to help and support. So let me pick up my threads from here. Um, at least I did not see giving as a organized in a very structured way during my time as a child, as a kid. And clearly, while we had age-old traditions, we were ruled by the Mughals, by the Turks, by the uh, uh, the Afghans, Pashtuns at some point of time, the Britishers, and clearly the wealth, country's wealth, went away. Way back, India and China used to be having the world trade. They were the two largest economies. China at about 24 odd percent, India at 23 odd percent. So half of the India world global trade sat between the two countries, China and India. And slowly, we sort of saw that wealth moving out and people turning into poverty. Of course, even during the princely states and the kings, the kingdoms we had, it was a grant, a give which the king or the dispensation used to give. Of course, they were also collecting taxes. There is no doubt that governments are always the largest philanthropic program which they do, because that is their job to to support people who are distressed. Um, but and especially post-independent India, we didn't have much foreign exchange. We didn't have money in the coffers, and the government at that point of time, led by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, decided on public spending and public infrastructure. And out of that, there were large schemes which were also giving or supporting the families who were in the lower middle income and the lower groups of that. So there were no opportunities, A, to open up businesses because individuals didn't have money, and therefore wealth creation opportunities were never there. Then we saw the post-liberalization era in 1991 when country opened up, when we were left down with some week or 10 days of foreign exchange reserves, and situation was very precarious. And that is a time when new entrepreneurs, new promoters came up, new business opportunities were thrown because it got open to the private sector. And slowly, we saw wealth creation opportunities coming our way. And I can tell you that Bharti is the poster boy of 1991 post-liberalization era. We were into very small businesses before that, and that is the time when the country opened up, and we saw uh, we saw, I would say, greater opportunities. But let me also tell you that the kind of opportunities you will have when you graduate and when you are ready to start walking the journey of a self-employed, of a professional, or in any which way, the opportunities are probably 100 times than what we had when we started our business journey. Um, and let me also say that even prior to 1991, there were some businesses and large number of individuals who believed in giving. I mean, at least I heard about the Tatas, the Birlas, the Modis opening education institutions. And more or less, what we saw during during my time as a kid and growing up, and prior to that, majority of the giving was for education or religious purposes, temples, gurudwaras. So majority of the money went into that, and uh, the individuals were trying to help, lend a helping hand whoever they could. And then, if I may say that post 1991, when there were new opportunities, new businesses came up, new employment opportunities also came. And the IT companies, the telecom, the FMCG, and the likes, and then power generation, for example, power sector, this brought huge wealth creation opportunities even for the professional individuals who were working in the companies in larger leadership roles. And therefore, because of our value system, because of our sanskars which we got from our elders, everyone started pitching in. And then 2013, um, which is 8 years ago, and I'm sure you would be reading the newspapers, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs came up with the CSR Act, the Corporate Social Responsibility Act, and identified the top 500 listed companies. And now there are a large number of companies, of course, to spend 2% of their last three-year average profits towards a cause, towards corporate social responsibility, towards supporting the society and the individuals. And as we speak, India Inc. sorry, spends about 20,000 crores a year towards CSR. And my belief is it'll be about 12, 13,000 companies now who spend that amount. There are companies who spend into hundreds of crores depending on their average profits. But the interesting part is that the individual giving, domestic philanthropy, if I may say, because philanthropy generally gets attached to corporate sector, but for me, giving any which way. So the individuals in 2010 were spending about 12,500 crores, which went up to 55,000 crores in the year 2013. No, sorry, 2018. And individual contributions have grown from 26% to 60%. So there is large individual giving which happens. Um, so this is just the context which I wanted to set. What do we have in front of us? India, a diverse country, a very large country, multiple challenges, large population below the poverty line who need support. And that is being extended by the government, by the corporate India, and the individuals. Majority of the giving on the corporate side is education, followed by healthcare, research, and then there are many other under the Schedule 7. I don't want to sort of bore you with the data points. You can Google and check that. But majority of when I say education, and education is opening educational institutions, scholarships, meals, because that is now part of education. A healthy mind, a healthy body will always be well educated, and therefore you need to provide nutritious meals. Uh, and when we see people around us, so one set of people you see in your homes, which is your domestic help, your servants, your maid servants, drivers, probably chowkidars, and in businesses you will have people working on the shop floor who earn only that much that they can live hand to mouth every month and raise their families. There is another set of people which is called BPL families, which is the below the poverty line. India did very well in the last over about, about 3 decades, 2.5, 3 decades, pulling people out of the poverty line. But the last 1 year, 13, 14 months, have really hit hard. And I understand there are probably tens of millions of people who have again fallen below the poverty line. So the percentage of BPL families have gone up. Uh, we all see the television, we all see the pictures which move us. Migrant workers walking to homes last March, started traveling now again. We are seeing now people struggling for healthcare. Even the basic healthcare is not available, and that's not only for the BPL families; it's for, as a matter of for everyone. But I personally believe, and it is very important message which I want to give you, Satyans. You can never be at peace. It is impossible to be at peace when you have turmoil around you, when you see people struggling to provide for their families. And therefore, well, you would have heard you would have heard this saying, charity begins at home. And my message to you is, and actually my message is to every Satyan, the entire 15, 1600 Satyans at the Satpal Mittal School. Start taking care of your domestic staff, their basic needs, their kids' education, their health care. You don't need to go off and find people out to help. If everyone starts doing that, we will see less of stress and resentment within the society and communities you live in. And I also firmly believe the more you give, the happier you are. So let me share two things which shaped up my own mindset very early in life. One of the instances, which came up was sometimes probably in the 80s, mid 80s, let's say about late 80s. I was with my father, and we were at the Nehru Siddhant Kendra Trust. I mean, you all know the trust which exists, which has also set up the Satpal Mittal School. And a person walks in, and I knew him very well. He was one of the leading businessmen. And he was very shattered and sort of broken, and he actually broke down in front of my father. And my father put his two hands in the kurta. He used to wear a kurta pajama being a politician. Whatever he had, he just put it in his hand without even, I couldn't even see what is being given. I mean, it was covered in the hand and just closed the hand. And the person walks away, and I'm driving back. And my father says, Rakesh, do you have some money on you with you? I said, yes, yes, certainly. And then he poses me a question. He says, you must be thinking your father is stupid. That a person comes crying and you just give all the money which you had in your pocket. And then obviously I said, no, no, no. He said, no, you must understand. This man who came today was one of the leading businessmen of Ludhiana. He's fallen on bad days. And as a friend, I could I could help whatever I could do. I have done my bit. That was my first lesson of giving to a person who didn't need it. But let me also tell you that there was not a single day, and when I say single days, when my father was present in Ludhiana, that we will not have hundreds of people. And when I say 100 means it could be anywhere upward from 200 to 400 people coming into home every morning, couple of hours. Someone's child needs help, some person's daughter is getting married, son is getting married. And I never saw anyone going empty handed back. My father would make sure that if there is a shadi, he will immediately call one of his deputies, give him the money and say, get the goods and deliver at home. He never gave cash to anyone because we all know, the families which are below the strata of the lower part of the society, they will just misuse and drink and, scatter away the money rather than for the cause. That I saw through the years. And interestingly, in 93, 94, my father passed in 92. I happened to go and meet one of his friends. So every time I used to go to Ludhiana, I used to meet one or two of his friends because I didn't want them to have this, thought that we were so close to Mr. Mittal, but after that the family is not even met us. And one of the again a businessman, I'm doing good. He told me about an incident which was sometimes in the 60s. And he said that my business went, it just went down. And one day your father comes with a potli. You understand potli? In a kapda, whatever you have. And he said, I can't take the name, so I won't. That's the way he addressed the person. And he said, I understand, but whatever I can do, this is my wife's jewelry. Please use it. And, I'm sure the bad times will be behind you. Of course, the person did not take the jewelry, but he says, that is what your father was. So giving is something which I picked up all through my life from my father and the system around and the society around. And that led to setting up of Bharti Foundation and the Satya Bharti School program. So Bhupinder was just mentioning you all go and visit the Satya Bharti schools. Let me tell you, today we are reaching out to about 275,000 kids every morning. When I say today maybe the number not be the same, but even on online we are reaching out through 180 odd Satya Bharti schools and about 800 government schools on quality support program in 14 states. So the entire education program today is in 16, 17 states across India. And let me tell you that all the money is spent by the family, by the foundation, and my companies who pitch in. We don't seek any money from the government. And let me tell you, and I'm just not trying to sort of score any brownie points here, but we end up spending about anywhere between 40, 50 crores a year towards the educational initiatives of Bharti Foundation, the Satya Bharti program, quality support program, as well as our own schools. And many of you would not know, we also built toilets in every village home of Ludhiana district. There are 1,000 villages in Ludhiana. We went into all the villages, and wherever we found the toilets were not available, we built a toilet in a home. And we have the best record of the usage of toilet. 98% people are using the toilets as a toilet. Generally, it's anywhere between around 70% because then they convert it into a store, something else, and uh, continue to sort of going out in the morning and evening. And I can tell you, the girls, the women, I mean, they've cried on my shoulder. Let me say that. I mean, that's exactly what happened. So I'm not going to dwell much into what we are doing. I think this is just I wanted to share how I started my journey. And let me also say, giving must be unconditional. Whether it is love, it must be unconditional. When you give love, you will get unconditional love. When you are giving to support and not to receive accolades or expectations of getting anything back. And and so let me just stop here. Uh, we are into 20 plus minutes. So why don't I hear each from each one of you uh, anything on the giving your parents, your friends, you yourself, or you've seen the communities around you. That is one thing which I want to put on the table. The second is you have seen the problems people are facing. Um, has it changed your mind? Has it changed your perspective of the way to live your life in future? And the last point is uh, any lesson which you would like to share with all of us, and I'm sure I'll also be gaining and learning from them, which I would say can make Satyans better persons going forward in their lives. And so it's not just the class of 10 I'm talking to. This is not only the message or the learnings which we'll pick up from you for the existing Satyans, but the future Satyans also, who would be passing through the journey at the Satpal Metal School. So feel free, whoever wants to talk, unmute and go ahead. Yes, Amitos. Amitos, you need to unmute and speak. You raised your hand, I saw it.
Ananya, unmute yourself.
Ananya, you can. I think he can't unmute. Ananya, you can go ahead.
So I just wanted to share my experience about donating handmade COVID shields to the first line workers. So during the first few months of lockdown, we did not have online classes because we were expecting schools to open. And I had a lot of free time on my hand, and I was usually putting it in my hobbies, art, music, etc. But my mother, and there's a trust, Padam Trust, from my late grandfather. So they encouraged us to make homemade COVID shields. We got a 3D printer and we made basically a goggles type of headband, and then we attached silicone sheets in front of it, so it was both comfortable to wear and you could wear it for long hours. So
Mhm.
through the trust, we then donated them to policemen and various hospitals where there was a lack of PE uh, kits, and I felt very happy. Like we spent a few hours on it, and it was taxing. But knowing that I had helped people in in these trying times, it made me very happy. And it was a family bonding time also because my brother and my father, we all sat down.
So, Ananya, whose idea was this?
Um, Initially, my grandmother and mother motivated me to do them.
So I'm not surprised. And these are the value systems which we pick up when we are living with our parents and grandparents. And I'm sure it would have personally given you a lot of satisfaction that you could help a few. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And let me also say, this is the way one can make a difference. because you cannot keep sitting thinking that things will happen or things can only happen when large group of people, institutions, or the governments will move. Only then the difference will be made. Making difference in societies and communities uh, is clearly help one person at a time, and that becomes a chain, and then it gets into tens and hundreds and thousands and millions from India's perspective. Vishrat, you had raised a hand.
Yes. Good morning, sir. I've joined from my son's team's account, so that's why it says Vishrut. My name is Rabia Sareen.
Oh, sorry, Rabia.
No problem.
That's the problem of technology. I read the name and I thought, okay,
No,
Rabia.
she's a PSC member, sir.
It's absolutely.
You have your session tomorrow morning, 9:30.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I'd just like to share a small incident which I did with Vishrat. He scored very good marks in Olympiads this year, and we were really celebrating his result for both maths and science. So I told him that I'd like to give you something, whatever you wish to, because you've really worked hard and you've scored a gold and everything. So I promised him that whatever you want, you can choose. So he's very fond of toys, and he bought me this and the first Lego and a little. This time I want a little bigger one. So I said, okay, fine. So he chose a Lego on Amazon, which was for about Legos are generally very expensive. So it was like about some 15 to 18 grand. So when I looked at him and I thought that, is it really worth spending that much of money on just a Lego piece, which is just you're just going to finish making it in like about 2-3 hours, and the fun is gone. So he was a little shaken that you promised me that you will give me whatever I ask for, and right now you're telling me that now it's expensive. So I tried explaining him, like just the way you said, that we cannot go reach out to every person in the world to help the poor people, but we can do what for the people who are working in our house. I said, this money is lying here. It's not that we cannot buy it for you. For with God's grace, we have enough that we can buy that much of amount. That's not the problem. But I just want you to think over it, that do you think that we should spend 18,000 rupees on a toy? So I gave him 3 days to 4 days time. I said, you think over it and tell me. And still, if you feel I'll still buy it for you, but you need to come up with me and tell me that, yes mama, I think it's worth it. So I told him, I said, look at these maids. There are these 3-4 maids who work in our house. And then I told him about their family, that they, during COVID times, there were such difficult times in their house that there was no food available to their children to be given. So I explained him everything, and after 3 days he comes to me and he told me that we will keep this money and we will give it to these maids. You can distribute how much you want to, and I would not take that. So I felt really proud as a mother that I managed to explain him that. If he had not understood what I'm trying to tell him, I would have definitely had to buy the toy because I promised him. That was another reason. But I was successful in explaining him that this money is there. I'm ready to spend it, but let's
Right,
spend
right.
it on a thing which gives us more happiness than a toy.
So, Rabia, how old is Vishnu?
He's in grade 5, sir.
Grade 5.
Yes.
So, just give him a message from me
Sure.
that this is something which we need to teach and imbibe, the values in our kids. He must
Yes.
write a para. Why and what did he feel in taking this decision? Encourage
Definitely, sir.
encourage him on doing
Definitely. And though after that, I bought him a Lego sure, for about 5,000, whichever he wanted. But not, I did not spend too much to give him, but I had to give him a little bit of his happiness also.
No, no, you should have taken the balance 13,000 from Naresh. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. Great, great. Ravi, nice talking to you. Amitos,
Same
go
here,
ahead.
sir. Thank you.
Why is yeah, you're
I accidentally,
yes, go ahead.
I accidentally raised my hand.
I thought you'd raise your hand. Anyway, Bhavya,
Yes, sir. So I am Bhavya. Sir, I would like to share the incident like every year on my birthday. On behalf of me, my grandfather distributes food to his entire colony. He lives in Hanumangarh, Rajasthan. So he runs a hospital over there. So he distributes food to all the people in the locality, to like around 200 or 300 people on the day of my birthday every year.
uh-huh.
He has been doing this from last 4 5 years. So it was my father's idea. So I and my friend asked my grandfather to do this. So he money that is required for that, and we all distribute food in the locality to the poor.
Very good. You know, it seems as if you all knew what we are going to talk about because I'm just getting that feeling. I don't know how Bhupinder has, not Bhupinder, the class teacher.
No, no, I had no idea what your topic was, sir. I'm being very honest.
Okay, I believe you. Jashan Jot.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you were talking about giving, and I think the biggest and the most important thing that we can give to the needy people is our time, and we can change their mindsets. Sir, for example, if we are in a car and we have stopped at a traffic light, what I have observed in our city and in various cities is that the beggars and people, needy people like them, they will come and ask for money. Sir, I think instead of doing that, we should stop right there and we should ask them that are they willing to work for money instead of staying there the whole day and asking for it. And sir, I think by giving them a thought and we should change their mindsets instead of giving them money directly.
So, Jashan Jot, um, you know, unfortunately, this is a big racket. And let me tell you, when I moved to Delhi, this was in 1990. When I say moved, my family moved end of 1990, and I used to frequently come every week to Delhi. And that was a time when, if you are driving a car, you could see people begging, but about 10, 15 feet away from the car. And slowly, I saw them inching closer to the cars and, touching the car. Now the situation is they bang. They bang the car or uh, knock very hard on your window. And I'm giving you my own personal experience, and this I observed about 15 years ago. We are in 90, we are in 2021. Yeah, sometimes in the early of 2000. I happened to be at a traffic signal, and my car was about seventh or eighth, and there were six, seven cars ahead of me. And I saw people who were begging, the elderly, the healthy male and females, and the kids. And of course, no one was opening the window to help. And I happened to see only their faces. And I realized that if they have their way, they will drag you out of your cars and take your car away. So much of hatred in their eyes, right? We don't realize when we have a carry out at home. We have a carry out, the meal costs 2,000, 3,000, I don't know, 5,000 sometimes. Could be a 2, 3 day salary of the domestic help who's working at your home for a month, almost round the clock. And I always tell my kids every time you are doing this, go and hand over the money yourself. and take the ballot. But it doesn't happen every time. So therefore, it is bound to create resentment. Having said that, there are childcare centers, and I have seen personally where you stop and you tell the child, why don't you go to school, or why don't you do this? They're taken to the childcare center. After 48 hours, you see them at the same crossing standing there because the governments have also given up. Once in a while, a judge will come to that childcare center, everyone will be granted bail go. Because they don't want to put them in juvenile centers or they don't want to bring them into jails if you are adults, because that itself is additional burden on the government. And this is a business, unfortunately. It is not that they are begging because they want to. This has become a huge business. We've seen the movies also. And therefore, it becomes a problem. And the only way out is help in kind rather than handing over cash. And this is one problem which is not going to go away in a jiffy. I heard my parents saying that there will be civil war. I have been saying this for the last 20 years. But probably the way things are, they, if not us, the next generation will positively see blood on the street because these people they have already lost their patience, let me tell you. You get a new refrigerator, you get a new TV, you get a new car, you get new clothes. So the amount of money we spend, who are truly blessed, so the gap is increasing. You have made a valid point, but unfortunately, these are the ground realities. And therefore, encourage your own self and your parents to provide education to the domestic help children which you have. उनको आप पढ़ाओगे, they will be different set of people. And I can tell you, 1990s, when I called one of the slums in Delhi around our one of the facilities, the mothers were very happy that we are going to teach them, give them education and a meal. In the evening, the fathers came with luts and hockey sticks. How dare you take our kids away from us? This is 1992. And 15 years after that, which is about 2006-7, I saw the world changing. And when I'm talking about the Satya Bharati schools and the government schools, these parents want their children to study. They don't want them to lead the lives which they have led themselves. All my children passing out of class 12 are going into higher education, into colleges and universities. So the landscape has changed. We just need to be judicious in helping and supporting those who need it. And the way it should be given is by more in kind rather than handing over cash. Three people, Khushi, Anusha, Varun in that order. Khushi, go ahead. And let me also tell you, and I'm going to, just pick up a quote, and this is very, very apt. Better to light a single candle than to curse the darkness. And that is what you Satyans need to do. Keep lighting single candles on your way, and you will see how these societies and communities get lit up around you. Khushi, go ahead.
So I wanted to share my every year on my birthday, I always go to some orphanage or some home for the handicapped people, and we donate them books, toys, clothes, etc. And also to the children of the maids who work at my home. Every year we donate some clothes or books to them. And this year during lockdown, we went and helped some people in their homes. We went to a village nearby and there were many needy people. So we donated some things to them. And I've always been an animal lover and I have a habit since when I was 5. I always place a bowl of water or some bread outside my home or some food grains in the balcony for the birds and dogs.
No, that is great, Khushi. You are into pets. I can tell you, if one has to really learn the way to unconditionally love, we must learn from the dogs. They give unconditional love. I'm sure other pets also do, but I have more experience with the dogs. But tell me one thing. Uh, During the pandemic times, what are your thoughts in your mind that what needs to be done or what should be done to assuage the suffering? You just shared what you do regularly, but so what? Let me just hear about that.
So during the pandemic, many people they lost their jobs. There was a lot of unemployment going around, and there were many who were going to the villages as well. And because of the lockdown, it took them a lot of time. They were on the roads for many weeks.
Yeah, Kushi, my question is specific. What would you have done? One thing which would have helped anyone.
So the daily wage workers, they became unemployed during the lockdown. So one thing that the people can do is they can go and donate some clothes or food or something which would help them um, to live peacefully and happily for a specific period of time. And we can do it on regular basis. We can go out and give some things every week to many people.
Right. Great. Sorry. That's good. And Anusha?
Good morning, sir. Sir, I live in a gated community, and during the first few months of lockdown, it was strictly said that no domestic help would be allowed in our homes. So some of the domestic help workers stood outside the gates and started to tell the watchman that they've been having unemployment and they cannot survive on their own. So what my friends and I did, we came to our families, we told them that we wanted a few polythene of food and clothes for the workers. We gave the workers the clothes and the foods for initial few months, like 5, 6 months, until they were able to find some employment for themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Anusha, can you activate your camera?
Sir, my camera is switched on.
No, we can't see you.
Anusha, beta, you please raise your hand.
Anyway, I think that's great. What you did, Varun. You were next.
Yes, good morning, sir. Sir, I wanted to share how my father and mother always says कि whenever you see beggars, you should not give them money, you should give them food, clothes, or anything that you are not using. My father always has biscuits in the car and he always gives it to the beggars that come. He
Yes.
all he also encourages me कि when I become an adult, I will have very much money क्योंकि my father very works very hard for us. And so he said, Ki, you have sufficient money, you should give the rest to philanthropic causes and charity works.
Mm-hmm. So, Varun, tell me, that is what you heard from your father. And I'm sure there are Satyan values, a value system at the Satpal Mittal School. Tell me one thing which you have learned during your interactions in school on giving. Anything you picked up?
Sir, I'll have to think about it. I'll tell you in some time.
Okay, you think I'll come back to you. Who wants to go next? So, let me also give you another message, and this is again a very, very powerful quote. Life should have more to it than working from cradle to grave. Be happy, spread happiness, have a purpose in life, and smile through the journey, through the way, and not seek happiness at the end. And I can tell you, the more you give, the more, I'm just repeating it, the more you give, the more happy and satisfied one feels. Who's the next? Who wants to go? So, okay, Dravin, let's hear you.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Yes, sir. So my mother works for an NGO, Cancer Fight Cancer. So we usually every year collect donations to give to the hospital for the cancer center. This year, sir, we all decided that we would give food to needy and would also make masks. So, sir, I have learned through this that my mother becomes more happier and she helps instead of working what she is specifically. She
Right.
likes.
So, I'm very happy in hearing from all of you that you have picked up the purpose of living and purpose of giving from your parents and grandparents at home. This really gives me great happiness and hope for a better future, not only for you, not only for young fellows in Ludhiana, but for the nation as a whole. I think I have seen how people have come forward, setting up temporary COVID facilities, providing concentrators, yeah, the life-saving drugs and injections, and how the doctors and the nurses and the paramedic staff have gone beyond their call of duty. And one such initiative we recognized at the Anand Medical College and Hospital. The frontline workers, the ambulance drivers, the paramedic staff, the nurses, and some of the junior doctors. The Nehru Siddhant Kendra Trust, recognized their huge contribution by giving an amount of 1 lakh each to 27 of these people at the Dana Medical College and Hospital. And I would also strongly urge you to, thank people around you who you see helping, just not necessarily the doctors and the nurses, but anyone who's helping in these times. A thank you brings a smile on the face of the person who's doing it. Dia, I see your hand raised.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
So, I wanted to share that my mother is really passionate about full moons and she really believes in them. So, since the pandemic has started last year, she has been donating food to people in slum areas and also to a slum school, and she's providing them. And this year also as well on my brother's and mother's birthday, we went there to donate food ourselves to the people there and the children. And seeing a smile on their face really made me happy and satisfied. And it just taught me that we should just always give rather than always asking. Like whatever we're giving, what even if it's gratitude or whatever, but some should always give rather than asking because we're privileged enough to have everything we want.
Right, right. So Dia, we are again. I'm just repeating it. We are actually blessed, truly blessed, that we are in a situation where we can go and help others. I can tell you, I have seen instances where people who struggle to have food for themselves giving. The Mata Ka Mandir, Jagrapur, once I was crossing there and I happened to stand on the traffic signal. The light was red. And, some persons were giving food to the people who were sitting on that triangle on the road. You have that road, you go left onto the flyover and straight and turn right to the Hotel Gulmore and Bharatnagar Chowk. There's a triangular divider there. I saw an old man. He was given two rotis and some sabzi. He kept one on the side and then he picked up the other, divided into two halves, and gave to the young boy and a young girl who were sitting there, who probably either did not get or they could have had more because he himself could not have had those two rotis, and that really touched me. That for giving, you don't need to have a large purse and a large wallet. You need a larger heart, and that is something which separates you from the men. You know, I have seen common men and common women. So I mean, common people doing uncommon things, and that really left a very, what you say, lasting impression on on my mind. Um, I had seen a hand raised. Dia, you have to say anything else?
No, sir, thank you.
Varun, you are ready with your answer?
No, sir, I cannot think of one.
You cannot. So that means that we have not taught anything in the school, man. It really worries me.
No, sir.
Then I can guarantee you, the principal, your senior head, and the class teacher will not say anything. All this is what we are talking about is between you and me. And you have my protection. If they say anything to you, just let me know. Ping me. Um, who else?
There's a
Also,
child by the name US.
okay.
Who's
I can't see
this?
his hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Uday Sharma is there, I think. Uday
yeah.
Sharma.
Please.
Yes, Uday Sharma is there.
Yes,
Yes.
Uday.
Sir, I wanted to tell you about the experience that actually my mother is a principal in a missionary school, and the students there are very needy, and like me, my mother, and my father, we all go for donate. We give people who need things like food and blankets and all as due to COVID, and it's a very good experience. And me and my friends also play football with
Mhm.
those guys for entertainment and all.
So, Uday, which Satya Bharati school have you visited in Ludhiana?
Sir, it's not a sir,
Sorry?
sir, not Satya Bharati school. My mother, my mother is a principal.
No. I'm saying the Satyans go and visit a Satya Bharati school. Have you visited any?
Yes, sir.
Which one?
So we go one. I don't know the name properly. The place's name.
Okay, you want to become an engineer or what in life?
Yes, yes, sir, I want to become an engineer.
So, first lesson I'll give you observation and memory. These are the two basic tenets to become an engineer. So, you went to the school, you
Yes.
observed, but not the name of the school and name of the village. You don't remember. So, start training yourself on that. What did you see in that Satya Bharati school which touched your heart?
So that we went there and we had some fun time with them and tried to comfort them and told them something that they didn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Um, Gautam, you see any hand raised because I can't see on my screen. So,
I've seen Uday Sharma. His hand was raised. And there is no other hand raised at present. Yeah.
Tamanna, go ahead. I see you in the center of my screen.
Yes. So even I had helped my cook. So when he had no house to live, so our old house was vacant, so we gave him a place to stay there, and I even donated some money from my pocket money that I had saved because
That's very good, Tamanna. Very good thought. Very good, very noble thought. Anyone else? You know, there is also a quote: "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." And I only wish that you may make many more lives in your careers in your future. Uh, so anyone is there?
Sir, could I request any child who would like to share their experience at Satyabharati schools? Anyone? You can raise your hands. What you felt when you went there, and what is the kind of feeling that you had? Yeah.
So we have Dia, Anusha, and there's unknown two people I can't see. Ananya has also raised hand. Okay, go ahead. Anyone can take the lead.
Yeah, Dia, you can start, Dia.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, it's been like a long time since, because of the COVID pandemic, we haven't been to the Satyabharati schools. But that is a visit that I try never to miss when I'm, in normal school days, because it's so heartwarming and heart touching to see that children over there who have so less resources also try to, try to be happy in what they have, and we like, even being so privileged, we always like crib for one or two small things with our parents that, okay, you've not bought us this and not bought us that. So seeing them being so happy and contented with so whatever they have is so heartwarming, and even they're so disciplined, and they're so kind and disciplined in whatever they do, helping and caring. So that is what I really like, and I try never to miss a visit to Satyabharati school whenever the situation is.
Right, right. Good to hear that. Anusha?
Yes, sir. So, obviously, it's been a long time since I've been to Satya Bharti school as well. However, I remember this one trip where we had to make friendship day cards with the students. It was so, I was so happy that day that I would make new friends. And besides, they did not treat me like, any different, considering I have more resources and they have less. They were happy with what they had. And that was so heartwarming for us. We shared our foods, we sat.
Anusha, we lost you. Can can everyone hear Anusha?
No, no. I think we have there's some loss. Yeah.
Ananya, you can unmute and talk.
For me, Satyabharati visits were always very happy because, like Anusha mentioned about the Friendship Day card, when we sat down, art is one of my hobbies, and like I try out new tricks to make art more beautiful and easier. So I was able to share one of them with a, girl, and she was very polite, and she was eager to learn, and she was always curious. And we also gave a speech in one another with visit about science chapter. And so all of the children were so curious to learn, and another visit we served food to them, and they were polite, and they every time we would serve them they would say thank you, and boys played with them, I think football and etc. And so it was very heartwarming, and they were so grateful and curious, and it really opened my eyes.
So one common thing which you will find in not only just Satya Bharati schools, anytime you go into rural areas, into villages, I travel a lot and I do that. How these people and families are so happy with so little what they have. I think that's a great lesson for each one of us. You know, materialistic things we believe gives us happiness. It is exactly the opposite. It is the relationships, it's the friendship, it's the kinship. It is not expecting more, which gives you happiness. And while your teacher will keep on talking about your IQ and EQ, I believe HQ is the most important. And it's not headquarters I'm talking about, it's the happiness quotient. If you are happy, you will see brightness around you. You will see light around you. You will see positive things around you. You will always see people happy around you. And if you are not happy, everything around you seems boring, negative, not good. So try to be happy. Be happy all the time. That's very important. Anyone? Can someone tell me, Ananya? Why don't you tell me? Because I see you. What is not right at this at a Satya Bharati school? When you've gone, did you pick up anything which the team over there could have done better?
So the overall visit was great, but one thing I think lacked was sporting equipment.
Which equipment?
Sports.
Sports. Yes.
The playground was really big, and there were football nets, etc. But like I think with academics, sports is also very important, and we also recently got an auditorium, and all the courts are built around it, and I think that really enhanced our school's overall development.
Yes, I think that is one area where we don't have enough facilities. Also, you would have seen these schools are in half acre or 1 acre of land. The area is less, but that doesn't mean that we can't do sports. But let me also share with you that sports are one of the important activities in our schools which we do at different points of time. In fact, the learning, the teaching also happens during some of the games which they play. So I don't know whether you've seen that or not. But Bhupinder, maybe next time when the kids are going, tell the Bharati Foundation guy or the school where you are going, they should call you on a day when there is a parent-teacher meeting.
Sure, sir. I will.
So, and you'll see more mothers there.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be also very good exposure for our kids and equally for the
Yeah.
mothers to see the Satyans coming and, meeting their own
I'll
children
do
and
that,
walk
sir.
there. I think that'll
I'll
be a
tell
good
Mr. Paps. Yeah. I'll do that, sir.
Okay, we need to wind, we're already an hour plus. When is your next session, Bhupinder?
12:15, 12:45.
Okay. So anyone else wants to say anything or?
Anyone can talk about any value which the school has taught you. Varun seems to be struggling with that.
So Bhupinder, no, not you. Jashan Jot.
Sir, if I may fill in for Varun, sir, the school has taught us to not be good, but be better than what we are right now, and to spread
You
happiness.
almost gave me a shock. You said school taught us not to be good. I thought it's a full stop there.
No, sir, no, sir. We have to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, yes, sir. The school has taught us to spread happiness in whatever manner we can, and just be kind to everyone around us, and give respect to not only the elders but also our the younger ones around us.
Okay. So who can tell me what are the Satyan values? Anyone? Because I try to, honestly, I don't know. So first of all, I have failed. I don't know myself. I can only say that whatever value system I have, that's what I have tried to imbibe, and I assume those should be there. But I don't know in 1 to 10 what are the Satyan values. I went on the website, I didn't find the Satyan values on the website. So I'm at a loss. Yes, someone has raised the hand. Please unmute.
Yes, yes, sir. I wanted to tell you that I was influenced by my father and mother that much key I did not pick up that many values from the schools.
Okay. So Varun, you are in class 10, right?
Yes,
Why
sir.
don't we give you a Zoom session with class 5, class 6 kids or whichever class junior to you? A 30-minute where you can talk about the values you've learned from your parents and what you can teach them or share with them. Shall we do it?
So that will be too much pressure.
No, there's no pressure at all. I mean, we are today. We are. Are you under pressure interacting with me?
No, sir.
So no, I'm just saying that it is always good to also be a mentor in life. And
Sir, in that quota, I am very bad.
you are what?
Ma'am, sir, I'm very bad at that. From childhood, I'm very bad at teaching.
No, no. So it's not. Don't see this as teaching. This is an interaction, free flow. I'm not saying this is a class you are going to take. You will just share the values you've learned and hear them out. Doable or not? I can't hear you. Anyway, I leave it to you and your class teacher. If you want to, I don't want to force you to do that. I can see names. So Monica J. There are two Monicas.
So, good morning, sir. So this is Monica Joshi, and these are both my accounts.
Okay. So you want to say something? Since I saw your name, I thought let me call you out.
No, no, no.
No, no. Go ahead and say something now, since I've called out.
So it has been a wonderful interaction with you, with the students. So I was really cherishing the interaction what children was having with you. So that's what I have to say. And the yesterday session was also very good. Enjoyed a lot.
All right. Yana, that's the last interaction I will have, and then we'll close.
Yes, sir.
Since that's the last alphabet I see from A to Z. Yes, Yana.
So, I have been helping people in need, not only with money but also with time before as well as during the pandemic. Like teaching students of like the students who are smaller to me, like teaching them new skills, donating people's that blankets, creating different occasions with them, making their occasions on days special. And also during the pandemic, first I had first line officers like policeman who stand sitting at the markets throughout the day, with some freshness.
Okay. Very well. Who is Varun's best friend in class? Varun, who is your best friend? I mean, you tell me.
Sir Kapish.
Sorry?
Sir Kapish.
Kapish. Okay, then you and Kapish jointly hold a session. You and your best friend. You know, once you do that, you will feel that this was just a child's play. Again, no, I'm not forcing you. I'm just suggesting and leave it to you. Leave it to that. So,
Yes, sir.
boys and girls, let me in closing say, uh, it's been absolutely sheer delight interacting with all of you. I was very happy to see the values you have imbibed and inculcated from your parents, from your teachers, from your grandparents. And I'm sure that this will stand with you all through your life and make you better persons. I think not only that, I also have hope that you will inculcate the same values amongst your friends, in school, out of school, and probably your children, you know, in the future. Um, Two things. One, which I want you to do is after this session, you talk to your parents in the evening tonight at dinner. And anything which you have picked up good from one of your friends, you know, everyone have shared. So you've seen what all of you are doing. Maybe you can pick up a friend's name and say he or she, you know, along with her parents did this. So share it with your parents. I think that'll be a good interaction today evening over dinner. And you can ping your dad to come home in time if he has gone out. Although I understand there's curfew going on, I hope all of you are taking due care. And the last I can say is, and this is something, you know, again, I want to leave a thought behind, a message. You know, when we are born without a name. We don't have a name when we come into this world. Our parents give us a name. And I think it is absolutely imperative on each one of you to make sure that during your lifetime, during the journey of your life, you do some good things, some good deeds, you do some out of the way, initiative, and I'm talking about the giving and the value system and what we are talking about, so that these good deeds are remembered by the society, by your parents, by your friends when you die. So when you're born, you're without a name, but when you die, you have the opportunity to people remember you by your name, which your parents gave you. So that's my last thought for all of you. Great talking to you. Stay safe, stay well, and take care of
Thank you
your
so much.
parents.
Right. Thank you
Take
so much, sir, for being for the session. I think it is truly inspiring for all of us. And it's always a learning to be with you. Every time we are with you, you learn. So really, it's wonderful. And the way I was telling these children earlier also, that he's just not a corporate giant. He's a compassionate and a very humble human being. And that's what makes it different. That's what makes Satpal Mittal. So thank you so much, sir. Wonderful session. And thank you for sparing your time. Thank you.
all the very best.
Thank you very much, sir.
And
Thank
I
you,
see all
sir.
of you
Thank you,
smiling
sir.
Thank
on
you,
the
sir.
screen
Thank
now.
you very
Thank you,
much, sir.
sir.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so
Yeah. Thank you, children, for being such a wonderful audience and interacting. I'll make sure your teachers, remind you what the Satyan values are. I think he's sir's right that I think I have not branded it into every